Human Rights and Storytelling by me, Sam Kinsella. My thesis statement. People use storytelling as a way to make sure the problems they were faced with do not reoccur. Summary of the article. The article, I Will Never Lie About Being Gay Again, LGBT Activists Remember Source of Pride by Josh Axelrod is an article which gives the reader a first-hand look into the traumatizing discrimination that gays of the 19th century had to undergo. The article is about Alexei Romanoff, an 82-year-old gay rights activist, and his experiences growing up in New York City in the 1950s. Lexi talks about how he would hang out at City's Bryant Park with his friends where he met Mother Bryant. Mother Bryant was a man, 86 years old. He would tell stories about getting beat up by the police, etc. He felt very uncomfortable with his sexuality and felt forced to leave New York City. Lexi shared some positive words that Mother Bryant had said, which helped him throughout his whole life. Mother Bryant made Alexi proud of who he was, and now Alexi tries to make people feel the way Mother Bryant had. Quote number one from the article. Gay men would often lie and call their partners their brothers, Romanoff said. This quote was explaining that gay men would pretend they were not gay. This was something that they would do to avoid conflict when out in public. The problem is people should never have to lie about their identity. Axelrod shares this story so that gay people can express their sexuality with no hesitation. Quote number two from article. He was a man that openly spoke out about being gay, and I was needing that kind of tutoring to feel good about myself, Romanoff said. I was never ashamed of being gay, but I got to admit I hid it. This quote was explaining how Mother Bryant would speak about being gay. This talk would make Alexi feel good about himself. Lexi would always try to hide his gayness to be/feel normal. When Lexi talked to Mother Bryant, he felt normal and good about himself. The issue is Alexi should not need this validation to be at ease with himself. Axelrod shares this information so that people can find peace within themselves and be happy with the person they are. Quote number one from book. Human suffering anywhere concerns men and women everywhere. What this quote explains is that when humans are suffering, it concerns humans all over the world. When men and women are suffering during the Holocaust, this becomes the whole world's problem. Whole world's problem. People are now taking more responsibility than ever before. The issue is people are hurting and it is reflecting across the entire world. Wadzo shares this specific quote to show the tauntness that is felt throughout the world and make sure people do not have to experience anything like this ever again. Quote number two from the book. Never shall I forget that night, the first night camp, which has turned my life into one long night, 7 times cursed and 7 times sealed. Never shall I forget those moments which murdered my God and my soul and turned my dreams to dust. Never shall I forget these things, even if I am condemned to live as long as God himself. Never. This quote states that Ellie will never forget his first night in camp, the night which turned his existence into one long night. Ellie will never forget the moments when God killed his soul, hopes, and dreams, no matter how long he lives. The night that he came to the camp, Ellie saw very horrifying things. These things will leave him scarred for the rest of his life. Ellie also began to lose faith in God, claiming that God murdered his soul and turned his dreams to dust. Nobody should ever have to be exposed to these things in a lifetime. Ellie was exposed to them at a very young age. These experiences go on to affect Ellie for the rest of his life. Weisel includes this in his story to show the reader the type of fear and discomfort people are put into at this point in their lives. Weisel does not want anyone to ever have to endure these things and lose faith in their religion. Answer to the big question. Storytelling connects to human rights because people use storytelling as a way to make sure the problems they were faced with do not reoccur. During the Holocaust, the Jewish people had to face horrifying circumstances where they were tortured and killed simply because of their religious beliefs. Also, during the 19th century, gay people were faced with discrimination because of their sexuality. Many gay people had to undergo acts of violence, moral/physical abuse, isolation, mental illness, and many other things because of society's opinion of them. Ellie Weisel and Josh Axelrod go in-depth on these issues in their writing. They do this to bring awareness to the topic and give the reader a better perception of the topic. In other words, these writers use their storytelling platform as a way to make sure the problems regarding human rights that they are faced with do not happen in the present day. Here's my works cited. Thank you.